see a lot of problems that we've been taught, and then you look at what actually being said in the Bible, and you don't see these same people following those precepts the way they describe it to us. And half the time, you can't even believe that the God that you believe in acts in the manner that you see, because there's a lot of murder going on in the Bible. I mean, there's a lot of murders going on in there. There's a lot of violence. That's one of the most violent books that there is.
Tell me about it. More people have died in the name of
I don't want to welcome you to one of our Tuesday night adventures.
Still dying.
In any wars, you know what I'm saying?
Still dying.
Yep.
Still dying.
And we're talking about the Bible tonight.
Makes sense.
Somehow, the book. Tell you what. Let me tell you one thing about the Bible. The book was just laying here on the table.
And it's sponsored already.
I mean, it's just laying on the table. You didn't have to bother. You didn't have to bring the subject up, but somehow the book, the presence of the book, that's crazy. We could have talked about anything, but you all chose to talk about the Bible. So let's do it. So here, let me ask you this.
It's supposed to be the greatest book ever written.
How you plan on getting into heaven?
It's the greatest story ever written.
Well, I've been told that it's a nice place to visit, but I don't know if I necessarily want to live there. Okay?
You don't know where you're not certain whether you want to live there.
No, I'm not certain.
You would prefer it. You would like a visit.
Yeah, I might want to come see you, come up and see you.
That ain't happening here.
Personally, I'm torn.
I want to go back where I know somebody.
Scarred and torn.
I mean, but your wife is into the Bible.
And your wife knows some fun to
well,
cover.
and you know, if there is a heaven, my wife's gonna be there. Ain't no doubt in my mind. But like I said, nice place to visit. But I don't know if I just want to live there. So I can go visit her and then go back where everything's cool.
You feel comfortable.
No, you may go back to where it's place. You may go back to, if you ain't in heaven, it ain't gonna be cool where you are.
I love Harry
It ain't gonna be cool where you are.
Heaven is not a cool place.
Tony,
Heaven is not a cool place.
well, I don't know. It ain't cool where I am right now. Shit, so I'm used to it.
So heaven not being a cool place, just someplace else to visit.
Yeah, I'm used to it.
Look at it like this, Harry. Look at it like this.
It's like you go around the corner to visit them.
I'm gonna prove my point by starting from the. This is my end point, but it's also my beginning point.
All right.
I'd rather take my chances and believing and be wrong, and end up in hell.
All right.
I'd rather take my chances and believing than not believing.
All right.
I'd rather take my chances on that.
So you got a choice. So you figure you got a choice.
Why this, Kev? There's not a better offer on the table.
By the Bible that every one of them that has ever lived will come back. They will all come back. You know, it's a lot about this Bible.
So heaven must be an awfully big joint.
Oh, it's going to be.
The word says after death, then comes the judgment.
Right. And everybody who is going to be judged is coming back. Everybody who ever lived is coming back.
Well, you gentlemen all
that's like hard to believe some of this stuff. You know, you really got to have faith to believe any of the stuff that's in here, because these are things that just don't happen naturally. People don't come back from the dead, but yet the Bible tells you that everybody who ever died.
What person came back from the dead?
It's not true.
I said
Jesus,
people
you look in the book of Matthew, he tell all the miracles he done. He raised Elijah from the dead. He raised people from the dead.
Anything recent?
Yes.
Everything that you know of, you found in there. You've never heard anybody say
there's been documents.
Somebody has come back.
You look it up. There's been documents that that's happened.
That people come back. From
yes, and I think we're living in the times that God is really showing us miracles in the world.
Name me one.
I can't do it. I tell you, look it on the internet. I can't name you one, but I'm
sure. Give me one name. Who do you know or heard of besides Lazarus and other names that are in the Bible?
Now, little Bobby. I heard that little Bobby was dead. But
no, I'm serious, guys.
I heard they just saw him on the street. Little Bobby's back.
Over on Cedar, right?
I'm serious. I believe it's happening.
Man, we don't know. We don't know.
But you said use the word faith.
Look, let me say, I argue with people with faith. That's why you will never win a war over the Middle East, because those people operate based entirely on faith. They believe in what they do. They were brought up. They were taught this from the time they were kids. They do not look at this life here as anything but a stepping stone to getting to heaven, or whatever they want to call their afterlife. This life right here is meaningless to them. They live so that they can become martyrs, that they can sacrifice their life here to expedite them getting to where they want to be, which is described here in the Bible or the Quran. In most cases, it's the Quran. And the difference between Muslims and Christians is that Muslims believe that Christianity believes in the Trinity, and that's saying that there's more than one God. Muslims' biggest problem with Christianity is that Trinity thing.
Yeah.
Okay.
They don't believe in Jesus. They don't believe in the Holy Spirit.
No, they believe that Jesus is a prophet.
Yeah, but gentlemen, all of the good books preach goodness, but in all of the good books there is so much corruption. How can you go for any one of them?
What do you mean by corruption?
Be it the Quran or be it the Bible or whatever. Well, I mean, they preach goodness, but in it they kill folks, they murder folks, they don't recognize folks that don't believe in the same shit that they believe in. They're doomed and damned. To me, that ain't brotherhood in Christianity if you don't believe in Jesus Christ. People that ain't never heard that term before, how can they be doomed? Because they don't know nothing about Jesus Christ or Allah. How can they be doomed? To me, it's just it don't make sense, man. It don't match up. It just don't match up.
The way I see it too is that you are not here to ask God for all these favors and this, that, and the other. See, you are only here at His behest, and you're here to serve Him. So what you want means absolutely nothing. What you ask for does not have to be granted to you, because He ain't concerned with all that. You are here. If He created you to serve Him, and that's the end of that story.
Yeah.
If He happens to give you something that you think you asked for, that's just pure coincidence, okay? But He ain't put you here for that. He put you here to make those sacrifices to please Him.
And to piggyback on what you just said, it's very true. Because you brought up a point earlier where young people, someone that could be in a third world country and die at 4 years old. There's no life expectancy here. We are not promised the next day. Some kids are born and die right away. You're right. So piggyback what you saying, we are here to serve. We live less time here. If heaven is real and heaven is true, like this word says it is, we're spending more time in eternity. Eternity is forever. We spend less time on this side. You understand what I'm saying? So I'd rather take my chance on what I'm going to. This word says, hey, this is what I need to do to be over there. I'd rather take that chance, because it is forever. This is a short-lived time we have here. We can die at 1, 2, 3, 4, whatever age.
And if you think you're taking a chance, the common denominator has always been money. All right. So if you think you're taking a real big chance, when you leave here, take some money with you. So you might need
that went over my head when I hear. That's a Harry Sites. That's a Harry Sites philosophy.
The thing that makes religion a suspect is because there are so many major. They say there's 3 major religions, okay, but there's more than that in terms of the number of religions. But why does it have to be so many of them, and why do they diverge so much from what we understand as Christians? Why you got so many other religions out there? Did that make any of those wrong just because you were Christians?
I can't.
These other religions not. I mean, this is just one of 3 major religions right now. Okay, this didn't even exist at one time.
What you're kind of saying is it goes back to some thoughts that I've kind of always had. God has made this awfully complicated.
Exactly.
This seemed like it could have been easily been simplified.
Well, have we made it complicated?
And why did he make it so complicated? That's what I'm trying to understand.
One thing the Bible
why has it got to be this complicated?
One thing the Bible tells you that God created everything.
Yep.
Now, if He created everything, He also created that thought pattern, how things He created, whatever is here, God created. So no one wants to give Him credit for creating the devil and what the devil does. You know, but if God created everything, He created the fact that you're able to kill somebody with a gun. God created it. If you can rape somebody, God created that thought too. In my opinion, it's always been there never had to be a bad choice. That's the problem I had with this whole system, with the whole God
You
thing.
never had a choice.
No. God has given us free will.
That's true. Free moral agents.
You can choose your choose, but there didn't have to be a bad choice. Choose whatever you want. Any choice you make gonna be a good choice.
That's why so many.
They're not gonna be a harmful choice.
So what makes this more
You
right?
can't choose nothing gonna kill.
Yeah, what makes this more right
kill
than any other
somebody.
religion?
Hey,
That's
Well,
where
Tony, when the
problem
first
I
sin
have.
was committed, first of all, when God made man, He said, create him in His own image. He gave man free, as you said, free will. We're free moral agents. Okay? God wouldn't be God. He wants you to love Him because of who He is, not because He forced you to be or worship Him. He wants you to do it because of the Spirit. That's right, to freely express your love to Him. Or we'd be robots. He didn't create us to be robots.
I think Harry was right. You need something like this to give you some guidelines to keep us from going total chaos and haywire. This is just a guideline to get you started to kind of put thinking people with free will still, we animals. And if you look at any other animal on this planet, this is what they do. They live to eat and procreate. Any other animal on this planet, that's all they do.
But I don't,
What was Lucifer? What was Lucifer?
He was an angel.
He was an angel,
He was
right?
an angel.
What kind of angel was he?
He was an archangel.
Beautiful. The most beautiful voice in the heavens.
Right. He was an archangel.
He was all of that in the heavens. What demised him and what got him kicked out of heaven? Him and 2/3 of the angels.
When God created human beings and put us in front of the angels, this is when Lucifer did. Oh no, I was here first.
But what do we call that? What do we call that today? Pride.
Pride and vanity.
Pride got him kicked out of heaven, thinking he was better than his creator.
Him and
And that's how we are today.
Hey, let me ask y'all a question. What is the only thing that we all, no matter where you're at on this planet, have in common, other than biological, hearts, lungs, liver, and whatever? What is the only thing that all people have in common? No matter where you live, it ain't language. It ain't. The only thing that we have in common is that we're born, we live, and we die.
Yep.
So don't you think in between that thing that we all have common, which is called living, that your heaven and hell, can't you associate that with heaven and hell? That point between where you're born and that point between where you die, because that's the only thing that everybody has in common.
And that's
To
our
me,
story.
That theory makes more sense.
That's our
than
story.
Buddhists or Muslims or Jehovah's Witnesses or whatever. That's the only thing that all people have in common.
That's our story.
There it is.
It's in between birth and
This is
death.
hell right
That's
here.
our story.
There it is.
It's a train of thought that said this is hell right here.
Harry, that shit was deep.
Profound.
And
That was deep.
But that's our story, though, Harry.
That was
there it
deep.
is.
It's our story.
Yeah.
In between
All right.
birth and death.
I didn't necessarily bad. It
One
was deep,
thing
but
that we all have in common.
But it determines our eternity. What we do between birth and death. It determines where we live and spend eternity.
If there
Who
is such
says
a
that?
thing.
Who says that?
If there is such a thing.
It's in the
But
Bible.
but see, now
It's
think
in
about
the-
this, Cigar. Our eternity is different because
It
our
is.
eternity in the Quran, our eternity in the Bible, our eternity in
careful with
whatever
that,
the
careful with that now,
Hindus
careful.
do, our
That's what we
eternity
say in
as
your
far
book,
as what
man.
the
There's
Jews
nothing happened to
do,
that.
our eternities are different. So even our eternities are different. But the only thing that is consistent is that we are born, we gonna die, and the shit in between. That's the only thing that's consistent. So why can't that be heaven and hell? Right there. Final words.
Final words. That's the guideline. That's the guideline right there. I don't know about some of the deeper aspects of it with regards to eternity or whatever. I just know that if you didn't have something like this to kind of guide the everyday person and how they behave in this world, half of us wouldn't be here. More than half probably, because the other half would be killing them. It's just an animalistic instinct that we all have.
Hey, Doc, my final word. All right, you got
hungry?
Cigar's final word, or is this my final word? All right. Go on, Cigar.
Well,
Give your final word.
My final word is what I started out as it being. You know, I would rather serve.
Err on the side of caution.
Yeah, I'd rather err on the side of caution. I know eternity means forever. I know that. We all know what that word means. So I'd rather err on the fact that me believing, okay, I'd rather take that chance and not believe it. I'd rather take that chance.
Big Baby, what's your final word? Or you want me to give my final word? My final word is that if we're going to go by the stuff that's in this book, then I'm not that concerned about going to heaven because there ain't gonna be that many people there. And I don't want to go nowhere where I don't know nobody.
You stick true to that one. I love it.
That's his story, and he's sticking with it. That's his story.
You man here, he say.
My final word is simply this. I know the guy got my back. That's how I'm going to deal with this. But look here. If you're in the neighborhood on a Tuesday night, you need to stop by because we do this shit all the time.
I love you guys, man. Y'all all right with me, man? This has been great. This has been great.